Myers Pottstown's drug mule, making his rounds. He was out here last night. I don't know how many times. I lost count. I don't want to exaggerate, over exaggerate. I think I seen him or heard him at least 4 times. That doesn't mean he wasn't up in the area doing stuff. He was out under here where my thumb's pointing. That's toward the Chinese store in Redner's on this side of the street last night, at least once. This man approached me in the street. Wade Wilkinson pointed him out to me and said he was muling. And he approached me a couple weeks after he was pointed out to me. After I went to the police about, Wade and all this other stuff, got off his mini bike or dirt bike, whatever the hell thing is. It's a pull start mini bike at Franklin down here toward Redner's, right before you get to Redner's, and asked me for a light. So I walked him over a light. I gave him a light, I think off the end of my cigarette, because I didn't want to stick around, because I knew who he was, and like I said, I knew the reputation. I didn't want to be associated. So I immediately handed him the cigarette and walked away. I didn't even want it back, which was 3/4 of the way gone anyway, almost. And I got to the sidewalk where it has a little ramp for like wheelchairs to go up in. So I walked up that, and he pushed his mini bike around the corner of the sidewalk through the crosswalk and came up onto the sidewalk with his bike, and like he was going to cut me off or tried to. And I walked around that and kept walking. I stayed about 10 feet, away from him at all times. Tried to, and I heard him mumble under his breath, "Oh, there's too many damn cops around here." And I said, "Well, what are you worried about the cops for?" I said, aren't you allowed to ride that in the street? And he said, "No." And I said, how fast does it go? He said, I think it does 61 miles an hour top speed. And I started asking him about, the bike overall, just to engage him in conversation, because, for him to say that, it made me pause and made me go, why is he worried about the cops then? What's he up to? Is he trying to rob me? What is going on here? So again, I backed off another 5 feet, and I made sure. What I did that for was my webcam or camcorder that I carry on my vest, my police vest cam, is I think it records in panoramic view. So I backed off just so I could get him and the bike on it, and which I still have. It's on a computer chip, but yeah. Ever since then, he circled my house. I heard him say the one day out back when he was out in the alleyway, and he does come up the back. I'm gonna wait for him out back. It's like, well, what the fuck did I do to these guys to make them, all jumpy like this? Now, I was filming him, and I think it was him. I'm again, it's all assumption on my part. Last winter, but it's based on evidence. The exact his MO, if you will, his makeover. The way he drives this thing up and down the street and goes toward Washington Street and Industrial Highway and up to the motels. There was a gentleman on a bike doing the same exact routine. So this guy either had a bike at one time with an engine on it, and it was pretty loud too. Really loud, just as loud as this, or if not louder. Last winter, doing the same thing, and I have to assume he's muling drugs. That's it's all day, all night, same thing. You can see what time of the morning it is, and he's out here already, and he was just out here like I would put him last night about 3:00 in the morning. He was out here. So and then the one time he went down the street last night, 2 cops went down behind him, almost like 100 car lengths behind him. You got to know he's out here doing this. You got to know it's loud. He's in the street. He's not in the bike path riding that damn thing. So why are they letting him run? I don't know if he's a snitch for the police. They're letting him they're letting him on a leash to lead, so he leads them to all the big game players, like the drug dealer and all the drug areas that he delivers. I don't know why he's allowed to continue to roam our streets, but here we are. And like I said, the cops ain't doing nothing about it. He's had a biker gang out here. He pulled up around the back, and then there's about 16 Harley Davidsons pulled up, and some over here, like toward the weed shop. This was 2 Sundays ago, I think. And you could hear him talking. You can hear him saying, "Oh, we can get that guy out of there. Don't worry about it." Where does he hang? Down by the New York store, which I do sit there all the time. When I walk downtown, that's the only bench in town uh, uh, to rest my knees and my back. And, I have a pinched sciatic nerve. I have lower crushed vertebrae. I have two bad knees, two bad hips from diabetic retinopathy or neuropathy, excuse me. I have both diabetic retinopathy and diabetic neuropathy. So that's one of my stopping places. And does he have tattoos? Any distinguishing marks? That's what the guy was saying. And I'm like, who the fuck are they? You know what I mean? So, and they were all brand new Harley Davidson. So I'm guessing they have to be in the meth game. I mean, bikers and meth go like chrome on, a bumper. You get what I'm saying? They go together. Here he comes again. Now, where he's gone, I don't know. But he makes rounds like this. I mean, any rookie cop could hear that, right? Now look, he's going behind the Pollock building, I think. So bikers and meth have been time immortal. Every drug that's probably been known to man, bikers have dipped their hand in. The one percenters, I mean, have been caught, dealing or whatever. It's fact. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not, pointing a finger at this, that, and the other. I'm just saying, it goes hand in hand. And some of them do drugs. I mean, in order to live a biker lifestyle, you have to stay up around the clock. So I understand. I'm not like I said, I'm not putting anybody down. What I'm saying is somebody, Scott Ohm, somebody called in these bikers to try to get me out of here. And it didn't work, of course, because, I exposed it. I mean, what kind of idiot would pull up, 12 at a time, 15 at a time on Harleys and go and talk about your demise across the street while you can record it? How fucking stupid can you be? But apparently there are dumbasses running all over the, planet. Just like this guy's allowed to roam up and down the street and be left alone by the Democrats, I guess. We must be Democrat in this town because they ain't doing shit to stop him, you know what I mean? To stop the drug flow, to stop the crime, to stop the... So I sit here every day trying to figure out, why would the cops let him roam up and down the street? Like I said, is he a snitch for the cops? Is he a drug mule and they're taking payoffs? There's a crooked cop somewhere in this town that's preventing it? I don't know. I can only guess. And it's like I said, it's all speculation. But his dirt bike's running now. And there were a lot of drug dealers out on this block, from the Aki store up here on the corner all the way to the Chinese store. They were dealing drugs. There was people ripping people off out here. I've got numerous videos of people getting robbed out here. It's a toilet. It's a cesspool around here. Again, prostitution. Some of the stuff I captured on video, some I didn't, of girls sitting in cars out front here saying, "Take me out back, I'm horny," and the guy saying, "Well, how much?" Stuff like that. You over here, I mean, my window's right here. Hear him? My window's right here, and it's like your voice echoes at night, so you can hear him talking out front. When I first moved in here, and you can check this with Xfinity Comcast, they installed my Wi-Fi. When he first came here, he goes, "John, do you have hookers in the building?" I said, "No, why? Not that I know of. I just moved in here." He said, "Well, you got a sign on the back door that says no hookers allowed in the back door." I'm thinking, well, I guess, yeah. So where there's hookers, there's drugs. Where there's drugs, there's hookers, right? That's where you got to make your money. So this whole area was exploding into a, red light district, if you will. With drugs, crime, and prostitution. Now it's a little slowed down, but he's still here. As you can hear, his bike is idling. Doing what he does best, I guess. Muling meth around. I'm guessing he's in the meth game. He could be in fentanyl, heroin, and meth. I don't know. Into delivering and using. I don't know. There goes the cops right now. I hope I caught that on camera. I mean, that's ridiculous. And he's up there with his dirt bike or mini bike idling. Now, why don't they stop and search him? And what are you doing in the street with this thing? We're impounding it. I have to assume that they either A, don't give a shit, or B, they're in on it. So, yeah, I have no clue what's going on, but it seems like they're turning a blind eye to whatever's happening here. It's kind of weird. So that was my alarm for my meds. I got to take my meds. But I'm sure I'll be back down the street. And again, they're all the prostitute that lives across the street, Scott Ohm. Wade's not here no more. I believe he might be in Chalk. That's a not a rehab. It's a shelter for homeless people because he's nothing but a bum. But he's the one that informed me about all these people, and he disappeared. So, but I just don't get this. It's got to be one of them, setting all this up. They're trying to take over the block. That's what they want me out of here so they can take over the block and open air drug sale. That's what they're doing. Well, I'm filming it. There's one of my cameras right there. So yes, I do have it attached to a soup can, which is heavy. It holds the camera up, and I've got little wedges underneath of it, and it works great year round. It's been there for 2 years now and hasn't moved once. So all right. Now, listen how loud this thing is. And he is literally out here at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. I seen him down at the motel. When my electric went out for about 10 to 15 days, they put me down at this motel. I seen him down there numerous times. And again, Wade's the one that pointed it out and said what he was doing. You know what I mean? So I have to assume Wade was telling the truth and he knew him. I think even Wade talked to him a few times, so. Again, I have very poor vision, so. But the guy was on a dirt bike, and it sounded just like that one that Wade stopped to talk to. So he's definitely making his rounds with people. There he goes. All right. Now he's going to stop at Franklin. Watch. See, you don't hear him after that. Wait. There he goes. Oh, Lord, he might not be stopping. He usually stops right at Franklin. He stopped a little further down. He probably went to Redner's, or he's in front of Redner's or down that way, because that's a drug section, too, across the street from Redner's. Nothing but junkies live in them buildings. Nope. It sounds like he kept going. Wow, that's a first. That's the first time I ever heard him not stop. Odd. So again, I found out through bumping into Wade, who was a high school, and actually I met him in grade school as far back as there, Limerick Elementary. Bumped into him after years of not seeing him. Met all these trashy people through him, and for the 15 days that my electric was out, and immediately they all tried to pull you down into the cesspool of their lives. They thought I was just like them, like, oh, he gets high, he's a dopehead, fucking homeless asshole like we are. No, I'm not. I don't want to be homeless. I want to, stability in my life. I want to, home, and I want to be left alone by people like you. So immediately, the train, once the train started rolling, I couldn't stop it, but I did everything in my power to try to get away from Wade and all them. And again, they did everything in their power to try to suck you in. And, oh, I'll get you a girl, man. She's nice, and I'll do this for you. You want to buy some speed? I'm like, no. So anyway, peer pressure. Here we are. So it's like, if they can't drag you down anchor wise, they, I guess, try to destroy you one way or another. You're in their way. You're reporting their drug activity, and now you're a snitch. They don't like that, and just go away. I'm not trying to get you arrested. By no means necessary. What I'm trying to do is get you fucking dregs, lowlifes, scumbags to leave me alone. Go anywhere. But they don't. They keep coming back for more and more and more. trying to trip you up, trying to set you up, trying to, you know what I mean? Listen, I'm not a cop. I'm not no police officer. I'm not trying to arrest nobody or get anybody arrested. I'm trying to get you fucking lowlives to go away. Go fuck around with somebody else. Because you're not going to get my EBT card. You're not going to get my money. You're not going to, I'm not a stupid motherfucker like you are. Living my whole life in the street, scraping chump change. That's what these are. They're petty thieves, They steal pennies and think they're kingpins. You know what I mean? That's exactly what they are. From Wade Wilkinson all the way up. So, and I have the videos to prove it. I have Wade's animated, arms flapping, telling me about how corrupt the judge is and how he could be Mayor Wade because he knows everything and knows everybody, and how corrupt the police station is and how corrupt zoning is. And, I have 9 to 16 videos of him doing this. And like I said, I lawyered up quick because I knew something was happening here. Something was going on. I had the lawyer before Wade. I'm just saying I was filming this fucking corrupt town way before that. But in stepped Wade, and he's telling me all these stories about the judge and the chief of police and all this other crazy stuff that it's his face on there. I can't make it up. It's not AI. It was filmed with a cell phone and a couple other, my tablet and a few other cameras. You can't make it up, and they're all time stamped. So the date, time, and days right there. Talking about how Scott Ohm is the drug, not only the drug pusher, but the drug manufacturer. He makes the meth. Back in the day, it was made with P2P or PCP, excuse me, or whatever the fuck drug they used to make it. And P2P, I think it is. And now it's made with ether, a little quicker. But just as, deadly to make it that way. It's very volatile, explosive. That's what Richard Pryor, I think, caught on fire, freebasing crack cocaine. He used ether to cut it, and it was very flammable. So anyway, not laughing at him. I'm just saying the funny shit people do just to get high. That's insane. Catch yourself on fire. That's retarded. But anyway, and I'm sure he'll say, Richard Pryor would say the same thing. It was retarded of me to do that. So anyway, now that he's sober all these years, if he's still alive, I don't know. But yeah, so, just by running into this fucking, piece of shit, Wade Wilkinson, who let his whole company go down the tubes. His wife was running his company. I know his whole background. His wife was literally running that whole company. All he had to do was show up to work and bang some nails out, or direct other guys to bang some nails out. His roofing company. She literally had him on a day-to-day allowance. That's how much he was allowed to spend. She would buy him a pack of cigarettes, buy him lunch, because he's a fucking dopehead. One of the girls I used to associate with when I did drink down at the Old Gold, lived next door to it, he told me many times, he said, I never cheated on my wife, but he was seeing the same girl I was, not after I started seeing her, before I was. So he's seen her, as he was going out the door, I was literally showing up next door at the bar, picking her up. So that's how close we missed each other. She told me that he was, knocking boots with her, if you will, bumping uglies, however you want to say it. So he's a liar. He's a con artist. He told me he was a forest ranger, I'm going to say. He told me he was an Air Force, or an Army Ranger. And blah, 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 he's decorated, he did this and that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, I'm not stupid. I'm not a stupid person. Any veteran, non-combat or just in the military service, has what they call a VIC card, Veterans ID card, so you can collect your benefits, or you can get discounts at stores. You show your ID card and you can get, discount on your meals, whatever, clothes. So if he was all that, and it also has your specs on there, what you did in the military while you were in there, such as motor pool. If he was in the Army Rangers, he would have said that. But he would have produced that card so fast to everybody and anybody, especially girls. He talks himself up. Wade is a narcissist. He talks himself up like no other. If you climb the mountain, he climbs 7. He doesn't just go 1 above you. He goes 17 above you. You know what I mean? I'm the greatest person I ever known. I'm a legend in my own mind. That's how he acts. So I know if he had a VIC card, he'd be showing it all over town. It would be gold plated. It'd be hanging around his neck like some bling, you know? That's the type of guy Wade is, and doesn't own a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So, I figured that out, knew that from years' experience, and figured it out. As soon as he said he was an Army Ranger, I laughed at him as he's holding up an air rifle. Like people play air guitar or air drums. I used to be in the Army Rangers. I'm like, well, you're gonna bring that air guitar with you? I mean, that air rifle with you? You're gonna be wearing an air uniform too? Again, bullshit from the, but it was, when he bullshits, it's only about himself, to build himself up bigger than he is. He must feel really bad about himself because he has to make himself out to be, the greatest person he's ever met. And if you don't listen to him, you're disrespecting. Or don't disrespect me. Well, I got to call bullshit like an umpire, I told him that while he was here. I said, you're the greatest person you ever met, huh? Legend in your own mind. And that's what led to our arguments and led to me kicking him out of my life and getting him away from me. I said, don't go away, man, just go away. But here's all the trash left over from his life. This idiot on the fucking moped, or it might as well be a moped. I mean, a grown-ass man on a fucking Honda 50. Come on. Go get a job, muling for Scott Ohm, the drug manufacturer and drug dealer. And the bikers probably came from Scott Ohm because he dwells in Berks County. I think it's up near the RMC, the Reading Motorcycle Club, which is privately owned, but a lot of bikers show up to their parties. A lot of different, the Hells Angels have been up there. They partied up there. So how do I know? A buddy of mine got his ass beat up there by 6 Hells Angels one time. So anyway, long story short, he could have, Scott O, meaning he could know these bikers and sent them down here, whatever. Again, I sat here watching them and listening to them and, of course, recording them. I have cameras everywhere. And they said a bunch of stuff about me. Now, the patches they wore, they did have a rocker panel up top and the bottom. I could not see no middle patch. So they could have been just some Johnny-come-lately fake-ass fucking wannabe bikers. Don't know. They could have been the breed. They could have been the Wheels of Soul. I know they're around here. I know the breed's around here. So Scott Ohm deals meth. He probably cooks for a lot of biker gangs, or maybe a biker gang specifically. Again, speculation. I'm not accusing. I'm just saying it could be. All this is speculation, A lot of it is from experience. And like, I know Sandy Gill. I know what she's did for the past 30 years. Her mother and daughter told me what she does. So when I did date her way back in, I don't know, 1989, whenever it was, I ran into her. Well, it's been Pinky's and Snuffy's bar used to be across from the police station. That's how long ago it was that I encountered her in any kind of capacity to date or whatever you want to call it. And I didn't pay for it. Never paid for it. Not ain't about to start, if you know what I mean. But she was doing it at the time. And she has affiliations with Scott Ohm because he stops here a lot. And I know he has another gentleman friend that lives here. But Sandy has stood out here and talked to Scott Ohm while his mom's little bluish car with the hatchback was parked right here. And then he walked over here to deliver drugs. I have him on my Facebook wall. If you scroll down far enough, you'll see Sandy and him standing there, or him alone by himself, and me commentating about it. What's he doing in this neighborhood? This is odd. He's sitting in his car for 20 minutes. And it was Scott Ohm with his ponytail. And he's still lurking around here. Lately, he's been sticking his ponytail, though, in his shirt to hide his identity, and wears a baseball cap. But it's him, and he's 62 years old. Like I said, he's from Berks County. And again, I'm going to have someone that I'm affiliated with contact the state police, because it's multiple counties, and the task force to try to get rid of this fucking shit out of this town. This town's too small for all this crime. I mean, I hear the ambulance go up the street at least 7 times a day. That's ridiculous for a town that's 3 miles wide by 4 miles wide. That's ridiculous. And I'm estimating how big the town is, but it's not a big town. You know what I mean? A good walker could walk this whole town in one day, in a cross section. You can walk from Walmart all the way down to the hospital where Pottstown ends, a little bit past there. And then you could come here where I'm standing and walk all the way out. You would have to go down by the river and then walk all the way to Hanover Street Bridge and then walk all the way out north end. It's not that big, not that big a town. Like I said, it's about 3 miles by 4 miles wide. I don't know. I'm estimating. So there you go. All right.